Okay, everybody. If any story you ever hear on the Lillian McDermott radio show compels you to move on to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, today's the day. So fasten your seatbelt because we are going to learn and grow together. I don't know, Brian, how much time do we have?
The Lillian McDermott
I knew it. Here we go. Time to dance. Let's hear that music, Brian. Okay, let's see. Oh, time to dance merengue. Oh, you're doing the chop. Okay.
It seems like your best ain't good.
There you go.
If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here.
Come on, you can't stop dancing. This is our morning calisthenics. There you go. I know. Some people try to fake it for 20 seconds, but no.
I'll be right here, waiting for you.
There you go. You should have seen Rip and Jane Esselstyn.
always turn
Amazing. They were doing this bit.
reach out to Lillian.
He was
Visit her
going behind his head.
at whenyounneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, for many of us, we have been taught, whether it's culturally or maybe by preference, whatever it is and whatever the motivation is, by our family, who taught us how to eat, how to think, how to live, how to love. All these things have been taught to us by the generation that brought us into this world, and they were taught by the generation before them. And so many of the attitudes that we have about food have been ingrained before we're even born. So today is a Thriving Thursday kind of show, because the two people that I'm interviewing today, that I'm going to introduce you to, are generational pattern shifters. And when you hear their story, it will compel you. If anything else that you've heard on the show, their story will compel you that we are no longer victims of our DNA, and we are totally in choice. So Marc Ramirez is a former University of Michigan football player who released, listen to this, 50 pounds and reversed type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, psoriasis, and even eliminated heartburn. One choice. Can you imagine what that choice is? Now, Marc, along with his wife, have been frustrated about their choice, and we're going to talk about that frustration and what you and I can do about this. Now, a whole food, plant-based lifestyle not only will change your life, but it will change the lives of the generations before you. And it could change the patterns of the generation that brought you into this world. And I'm so excited that I get to introduce you to Kim and Marc Ramirez, who, by the way, our sole purpose in life is to give, receive love and knowledge. And I'm grateful that they're here to do just that. Welcome to the Lillian McDermott radio show.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Hi, Lillian. Thank you so much. We're so honored to be here on your show. Thank you.
Well, the honor is ours because we get to hear your story, just one more story along the way of many that have been shared. Now, for those of you who know, I love the documentary Eating You Alive. Of course, I love Forks Over Knives. I love all these documentaries we talk about. But Marc was featured in the documentary Eating You Alive. So let's start with you, Marc. Share a little bit about your background and what led you to your passion for a whole food plant-based lifestyle.
Yeah, so I come from a big Hispanic family, Lillian, 8 brothers and sisters, and it was just my mother and to raise us. And
Wow.
Basically, My mom had diabetes and struggled with diabetes for over 33 years. And unfortunately, after years and years of diabetes and only getting worse, she passed at the young age of 61. She needed a double bypass, went into the hospital and never recovered. My oldest brother, David, he passed at the young age of 41 after a 9-month bout of pancreatic cancer, but he was diabetic for approximately a decade.
Wow.
My twin brother, Joe, also diabetic for many years, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I think he's been diabetic approximately 17 years. Little sister, Sandra, she's been diabetic for 15 years. So you look at my entire family, and everybody's has diabetes with the exception of one sister. We've all battled and fought this disease. And I thought, I beat this in 2002. And by the time you fast forward 10 years to 2011, end of 2011, beginning of 2012, I've been diabetic for a decade. And I'm on 5 different medications, insulin shots, two pills for diabetes, 1 for high blood pressure, 1 for high cholesterol. And so I grew up believing that this was my genes, this was my genetics, there's nothing I can do about this. And hey, my whole family is sick. So I was believing that. I was drinking that Kool-Aid that, hey, I need to brace for impact, right? Yeah. And so then we came across the documentary Forks Over Knives, and we read Dr. Neil Barnard's program for reversing diabetes. And those two actions of watching the movie and reading the book changed my entire family's trajectory, because after we adopted a whole food plant-based lifestyle, in 2 months, I was off all 5 of my medications. In 3 months, I had lost 50 pounds. And so you have to take a step back and say, is that genetics or is that my lifestyle, right? Because for the longest time, I believed it was genetics. And so now Kim and I, that message and that transformed us so profoundly that we have to share this with any and everybody that we can. Absolutely.
Absolutely. For those of you, and you said 2 actions, but you did 3. You read it, you watched it, and you did it. You True. Did it. That is the missing link. And it was a choice that you made. And this is what we're going to be talking about on the Lillian McDermott radio show today. So fasten your seatbelt. We're going to learn and grow together. And we're going to continue our conversation with Kim and Marc Ramirez when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Amazing, amazing, amazing story. I am so, because, okay, as you and I, Marc, you and I, we come from Hispanic background. Our food is our religion, is somewhat of a religion.
It absolutely is. I mean, when you grow up, the fajitas, the enchiladas, the barbacoa, right? All of these foods, the tortillas and beans. When I look back, I mean, I love my mom, God rest her soul. But when I look back as a little kid and I remember her making the beans, the first thing that would happen was this huge scoop of Crisco going in the pot and then the beans go in, right? And the tortillas, which we used to love, the fresh homemade tortillas, fantastic. But what goes in that flour? A whole bunch of Crisco. So we're eating all of these foods loaded with fat. And so when I look back, I say, okay, again, is it because I'm Mexican, or is it because all these foods I ate for all these decades that my body is now turned against me?
Yeah. Well, you're walking petri dish, so to speak. You're an example. And we become our environment. Whatever's in that petri dish, we become. And I don't know if you know of the experiment that Bruce Lipton did when he discovered that it's not about that we're not victims of our DNA. And he was teaching doctors this. And he walked away when he did this experiment. With 1 cell, he put it in a petri dish. And, there was different, do you know this experiment about the
I don't.
I've not heard about it. No.
Well, I don't know how much time we have left, and I could share it with you another time. But he took 1 cell and he put it in a petri dish, and within a short period of time, there were thousands of cells. And what he did was he put it on different petri dish. The one bone, muscle, fat, and there was a sick one. And so that 1 cell that he put it in, that multiplied, he put it in the different petri dish, and the cells became whatever was in the petri dish. And they took them out, and he put it in the sick cell and the sick petri dish, and they all became sick. And he took them out of the petri dish, put them back into the healthy environment, and all the cells got fine. There was no medication. There was nothing needed. That was 45 years ago.
You can count on me. I'll be
Here you go. Time to dance. I love the chopping thing. I love
You can
that.
text Lillian McDermott or
There
leave
you
her a
go.
voicemail.
Oh, you're trying to outdo Rip, huh?
I have to try.
Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow together. And today's teachers are Marc and Kim Ramirez. And so we just heard the story of Marc. If that's not compelling, in 2 months, changing so much. But you know what? It wasn't about the releasing of the weight. It was about becoming healthy. The byproduct of that, the side effect of it, is that he lost 50 pounds into, what is it? Did you lose it in, did you release it in 2 months? The weight as well?
The weight was lost in 3 months. I was off 5 of my medications in 2 months of adopting a whole food plant-based lifestyle.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. So let's now shift gears to Kim Ramirez. Now you were a former vegetarian, right?
I was. From the time I was about 18 to 21, I was vegetarian. Mostly at that time, it was for ethical reasons. I was concerned about how animals are being mistreated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't really know any other vegetarians. I had some people giving me some bad advice about which direction to go in. And unfortunately, I started eating meat again.
Yeah.
So then when we watched Forks Over Knives and we read Dr. Barnard's book, I understood it. It made a lot of sense to me, and I was ready to jump in again. I was so thrilled after we watched Forks Over Knives. I looked over at Marc and I'm thinking, oh, I wish he would try this, but this way of eating plants, it's just not him. I don't think he'll do it. And I looked at him when the documentary was over, and he said, Kim, I want to try this. I was so thrilled. From that moment on, we went vegan, and things just got better and better for us.
Yeah. And you know what? I do understand the separation between the word vegan and whole food plant-based, because I've noticed that there's a trend in the vegan community that they're changing, just because it's vegan, they're adding all the sugars, they're adding all the flours, we have to be very careful. The whole food plant-based is a movement that is saying, we want to make sure that this is the whole food, not necessarily no animal products. Does that make sense, Kim?
It does. Something I like to say too is low-fat vegan. That's really what we strive for. I understand what you're saying about the whole food plant-based. That's a little bit more focused on nutrition. Yeah. I like saying vegan because for me, it becomes more than just about the nutrition. It's about how it affects the planet and the animals, and how it helps fight hunger too.
Absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that they knew that not only were you vegan, but whole food plant-based is so important. Go ahead, Marc. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, because we did this for nutrition reasons, for health reasons. That's what led us down this path. But once you do, the blinders come off on your eyes on how the planet and how these animals are being treated, right? And so very, very powerful information. And you're right, Oreos are vegan.
Yes.
Most beers are vegan. Most French fries are vegan, but those are not health food, so you can't eat those as well. So you're right. There is just some clarification.
I wish there was a word that encompassed all of that, that combined the ethical and the environmental factors with the healthy nutrition, but
it's called awareness. It really is called awareness. And because when I walked away from the way I was, and Marc, you and I share a Hispanic background, may not be Mexican, but my parents, I grew up with the rice and beans and the pork and my dad would have a half a cow in the refrigerator. And, and every time, actually most of the time, whenever I'd eat it, I'd have to be rushed to the emergency room. And I was sharing this with you before when we first met, that, we didn't make the link, that my stomach didn't produce enough acid to digest the meat. And so it would create a horrible reaction, but we never even contemplated or even thought that I could give up meat. How was it for you, Marc, as you have not only diabetes and disease, but you have premature death? How was that for your family, walking away from the cultural food, which you can still make in a different way, but at the mindset is like, how can you do that? How was it for you? Were you embraced?
So here's how it all, I'm looking at 10 years of being sick, and only every year, Lillian, I'm getting worse. More medications, higher dosages, insulin shots, everything was headed down this wrong path. And I think one of the triggers for me is Kim and I, when we watched Forks Over Knives, that was given to us by my in-laws, and it sat on the shelf for a few months. I'll be honest with you. They gave it to us. My in-laws gave us the DVD, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Cause they knew I was sick, and it sat on the shelf, but my brother had just had his amputation of his right leg. I'm looking back at, and I'm looking at my life going forward saying, what's going to happen to me? I have 2 children. I have my wife. How is this going to impact my family and my life? And I had tried in that decade of being sick, I had tried counting carbs, counting calories, portion control, exercise more, eat less, all those different tactics. And while some of them worked to where I lost a little bit of weight, I was still sick. I'm still taking the medicine. So even though I lost the weight, it didn't heal my body to the point where I could eliminate the medications. So we saw that documentary, and I said, I've tried everything else. I haven't tried this. And lo and behold, I start to see that as soon as we adopt this lifestyle, my blood glucose levels are dropping. Within 3 to 4 days, I see them start to plummet. I'm losing between 5 to 7 pounds a week. My energy levels are going up. I'm feeling all around better. And I'm like, well, let me head down this path. And 26 days into this lifestyle, because Lillian, as diabetics, we go to the doctor every 3 months and we get our blood work analyzed to determine, hey, how are your glucose levels? How's your A1C doing? How's your cholesterol doing? Mm-hmm. And so I noticed that 6 days after, my cholesterol plummeted 60 points. My triglycerides dropped 80 points. My A1C went from 10.5 down to 8.1, almost 2.5 point drop. And in my decade of being sick, I had never seen blood work with that profound improvement just by making whatever change it was, whether it was counting carbs or calories. So this to me was the aha moment that I'm feeling better. My glucose levels are improving. I'm eliminating medications. Let me keep heading down this path. And that's where in the 2 months, I was able to eliminate all those 5 medications, including insulin shots. And in 3 months, I had shed the 50 pounds.
Mark and Kim, my registered service mark is you can take a pill, you can take responsibility. I'm not against pills. I'm not. But I am for doing everything you possibly can to live the life you want. And at that point, you chose to take responsibility, do something different. And what an incredible change. There is no pill on this earth that can do what you did in 2 months. How's that?
Yeah,
it's true.
It's one of the things we talk about when we are giving presentations and talking to individuals. Say, look, hey, did you hear about that pill that reverses diabetes? And they look at me a little like, what? And I'm like, no, there's no pill that reverses diabetes. How about the one for high blood pressure, high cholesterol? There is no medication. All these medications do is give us a false sense of security. Hey, I take this pill, my cholesterol comes down, it's in line, but I'm doing zero to help that potential heart attack and stroke, which kills most Americans in this country, both male and female.
Yes.
So yay for you, your glucose levels are a little better. But again, if you're not doing anything to help your health and you're just happy about this one metric, it's really not helping your overall health. And that's what we try to share with people. There are no medicines that reverse chronic disease. They mask the bigger problem, and they artificially ask your body to do something it normally wouldn't do.
Yeah, I want to say something to that. Dr. Joel Fuhrman, he's a regular, as well as Dr. Neil Bernard. They're both regulars on my show. But Dr. Joel Fuhrman proposed the question on my show. What would you do if there wasn't a pill to reverse diabetes? What would you do if there wasn't a pill to reverse heart disease, high cholesterol? What would you do? Well, there isn't a pill. But this pill, what they think in the mind, it's the belief that we were talking about off the air, that belief that says that if I take this pill, I can continue eating the foods that are making me sick. Now, so Kim, here you are looking at your husband. Did you make these transformations that you knew that he could potentially be going down an early death? And so what were your thoughts about your body, some of the changes that you've seen in your body as a result?
Yeah, We did this with the goal of reversing his type 2 diabetes. That's how it started. And I was happy to do that and happy to join in and find the right foods for us to eat and recipes to make, thinking that, that was what it's going to be all about. And then I discovered, it was kind of a wonderful surprise that my skin started to look better. I started to sleep better. My hair got thicker and my nails got stronger. I also had a mole on my chest that needed to be biopsied that looked suspicious. And after 2 or 3 months of eating this way, the mole completely disappeared and I didn't have to have that biopsy done. So that was a wonderful surprise too. I researched that a little bit and found that a lot of people who eat a lot of raw plant-based foods have that happen. And while we're not 100% raw, we do eat a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. So I think that all those antioxidants and phytonutrients that are in the plants that we eat help my immune system. So that mole ended up disappearing. So that was nice. But
yes.
And another thing too is the emotional and the psychological benefits that we discovered really changed. It changed our life.
Go ahead, share more about that.
Yeah, when you look at the devastation, I look at my little brother, Lillian. He is 45 years old. He just turned 45 in January of this year. Mm-hmm. He was diagnosed with diabetes at 13 or 14 years of age. So he's been diabetic over 30 years, but he's had his right leg amputated. He's had a pancreas and kidney transplant. He's been legally blind since 2004. Oh. He's been on dialysis since 2011. He takes 25 medications every single day. And so when people tell me, hey, I can't do that, Mark, and they tell us, I can't do that. It's too hard. It's impossible. And so what we tell them is, if you look at my little brother, that life is hard. Yes. What he goes through every day. And, he's a trooper. He lets us share a lot of his photos and what's happening with him, and very positive to the extent that he can be. But the bottom line is go try living his life for 24 hours and then tell me that eating all the fruits you want, all the vegetables you want, all the grains you want, and all the legumes you want is hard. There's over 18,000 kinds of legumes. I think we've tried maybe 15 of them, right? So this lifestyle is one of abundance. It really opens your eyes to all of the possibilities of food that we never even knew existed. And luckily for me, I have one of my great friends. He says I have the Kim factor because Kim is the one that does the majority of the cooking. She keeps us. She's my rock, and she keeps us in line. But the bottom line is when you look at this lifestyle, I can eat as much as I want. I can eat. I don't count anything. There's no restrictions. I just set certain foods aside. But outside of that, there is no counting of anything. Eat as much as you want, all the fruits. And it just kills me when I hear these people say, I can't have a banana because it's really high in sugar.
I know.
I can't have an apple. It'll skyrocket my glucose levels.
Yeah, but please pass the diet ice cream. I'll take that. I can eat that. So, okay. So has your brother changed his lifestyle? How he eats?
So of all my brothers and sisters, there's really... I know they've made some modifications, but no, they're still eating the animal foods. My oldest sister, Carol, she is the one who was diabetic, taking a pill, and ultimately she ended up being able to eliminate those medications by adopting mostly a whole food plant-based lifestyle.
Very good. And when we come back, we're going to talk about their foundation, Chickpea and Bean, nonprofit, and we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. Wow. So, here's your family, lots of losses. How difficult is it for, and you can individually answer this, how difficult is it for you that the answer, the truth to health, and watching all these losses, and even after you are an example, not being able to impact those you love the most? We'll start with you, Mark.
So basically, we learned early on in this process that no matter how sick or no matter how diseased someone may be, it's going to be up to the individual. As much as we would love to do it for them, we can't do it for them. It's going to be up to that individual to say, you know what, I've had enough. I need to try something different, because many of my family members, even though they are diabetic and blood pressure and cholesterol issues like many Americans, they have not really made many changes. Some are changes. one of my siblings will say, hey, I stopped drinking pop, and I applaud them, and that's a good move, right? We don't want to be drinking Coca-Cola or Diet Coke, or
sure.
We want to
Every step leads us.
Yeah. So, and not everybody can cut from one day to the next. Maybe if that won't work for you, you need to know yourself, right? Kim and I, we were able to do that from December 3rd is when we said, okay, we're going to do this. And we weren't 100% sure how. And through Kim looking on the internet and me looking on it and just trying to investigate, how do we do this? We've in this last 6.5 years, we've learned a ton, and we continue to learn. We don't claim to know it all, but we have learned enough to know that it is the food. It's the food that's killing us, but it can also be the food that saves us.
That's right. That's right. You can.
But very hard to change people. There has to be a trigger, I think, for those individuals. And if they can just move that needle slowly and eventually get there, great. If they can cut from one day to the next, great. But it really has to be up to that individual. They need to know and understand that, hey, I can't do that, or hey, baby steps and I can get there. Okay, however you can do it. But we encourage people to just try and get that done.
And Kim, thank you, Mark, for that. And it's still very difficult. I see a lot of members in my family, and I don't know about you, but I was mocked for being a hypochondriac, for changing, and all these conditions, all this stuff goes away. And now 20 years later, they're coming to me going, what was that again? What was that again? Yeah. So with you, Kim, you said you had some debilitating migraines, and that changed for you too, right?
Yeah, I used to have headaches to the point that it affected my cognitive abilities. I couldn't think straight when I had these terrible headaches, and I don't get them anymore. Those have completely disappeared.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it has to do with the hormones in the animal products, and I think that was my headaches were hormonal. My gynecologist thought they were, and I think when I stopped eating hormones because I stopped eating animal products, everything leveled off, and my headaches disappeared. So
very good.
I get minor headaches once in a while, but nothing like I used to. So
wow.
What's really cool with Kim's scenario, and I guess I have the dramatic story with all the disease that was reversed.
Yes.
And
because Dale just joined us, because Dale, I would love to continue this conversation about this. Let me tell you what Marc Ramirez. By the way, this is Dale Billis. He is what is your new title, Dale? I was trying to find it.
Founder and chairman.
Founder and chairman of Liberty Health Share. You're going to love listening about this. You're going to love about how you can make other choices too. But listen to what Mark changed in 2 months. Well, he released 50 pounds. That took a little longer. But he reversed type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, psoriasis, and eliminated his heartburn in 2 months.
I am waiting with bated breath.
A whole food, plant-based lifestyle. A whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Liberty Health Share promotes health and wellness. And so this is what I promote, and this is what I embrace, Dale. And I thought maybe we can bring you into the conversation. I want, when we come back from the break, I want Mark and Kim to talk about their foundation, and then we'll bring you in the mix, okay?
You can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Oh, that's right.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow together. I am so grateful that Mark and Kim Ramirez are sharing their story. This is kind of a Thriving Thursday kind of show because you're in choice. You're always in choice. And some of the choices that we make are the choices that we've been taught, which are, we think that we are at liberty to, or that this is the only way. But if you just consider that perhaps there's another way, what pill out there can change type 2 diabetes, reverse type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, psoriasis, and eliminate heartburn? What pill is out there? And if there wasn't a pill out there, which there isn't, by the way, that's the irony of this question. If there wasn't a pill that did all that, what would you do? Would you resort in changing your lifestyle? Well, For a Hispanic, I could say it's cultural. For Hispanic people, it might be even more ingrained. I was telling Mark that it could have been easier for me to walk away from my religion in my family than to walk away from eating animal products, from eating dairy, from eating, cheeses or oils or things that we don't even know are affecting our life. But this is the stuff that we hear on the Lillian McDermott radio show. And I want to encourage you not only to become a subscriber at whenyouneedafriend.com, but also check out my sponsors, which we'll be listening to Dale Billis in a little bit, because I want to bring him into the conversation about choices that we make that will change our life. I want you to go there and check out my sponsors. Liberty Health Share is one of them, and make sure you check out how you can support them the way they're supporting the show. There are so many different ways that we can learn and grow together, but becoming a subscriber is your first step. You can become a subscriber not only at whenyouneedafriend.com, but while you're there, click on all my social media, my YouTube page, and become a part of this Heal Tribe, a healthy eating and living Heal Tribe that we are promoting in the First Coast and also in the Space Coast. And worldwide. I can only be in 2 places at one time. No, I can only be in one place, and I get there twice. So we have Marc and Kim Ramirez. I shared this information with you because we're leading up to the fact that they started a foundation called Chickpea and Bean, because I can only imagine the frustration of seeing so much disease, so much happening in people's lives, the losses, and still not listen to your story. So Marc, tell us about Chickpea and Bean, the nonprofit foundation that you guys started.
So Kim and I, once we found out this information, this powerful information about 3 years in, we decided to launch Chickpea and Bean. It's a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to educate people about the power and benefits of a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And really, with the results that we achieved in such a short amount of time, Kim and I, we became certified Food for Life instructors through the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, or PCRM. Mm-hmm. Kim also has the certificate from the T. Colin Campbell Nutrition Studies program. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's also a Ruby
Forks Over
Knives Ruby certification holder.
Right.
Wow.
And so now we do everything we can in our power to just get this message out there. We hold many presentations. We've been blessed that we've been featured on many TV shows. We've been featured in documentaries and books and magazines. And so everything that we can do within our power, we try to get this information out there, because so many people are struggling. Yeah. And the reality is that most of the American chronic diseases that exist today, and really chronic diseases across the world, they don't need to exist. If we fuel our bodies with the right food, this amazing machine knows what to do. It's when we start feeding it with all this processed, highly animal-based foods that the body becomes ill. So
yeah, we felt thrilled, of course, with Marc's results, and it changed our whole family's outlook on life. It empowered us. It put us in control. So now type 2 diabetes is no longer in control. We're in control. And we felt thrilled, but we also felt very frustrated and a little angry, because we felt like, why had no healthcare provider ever suggested this to us? Yeah. Why is this message not getting out there? And that's a complex question. There are a lot of reasons why, but we felt compelled to share the message, to let other people know that this could probably help them too.
It's an incredible message. And so Marc, go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, I was just going to say, my doctor, when I started taking my insulin shots, and I was on insulin almost 2 years, he told me I would never get off my insulin shots. I was going to be on insulin the rest of my life. That was the message coming to me from my doctor. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I was upset. I was upset because I'd seen how going down that path had devastated and is devastating many of my family members. So it's just, we've actually taught a couple of medical students at a couple of universities. We've put them through a Kickstart program to help them understand, just trying to get them to realize the power of food, and the fact that many people are going to be listening to their doctors it's unfortunate that when we talk to medical students coming out of their medical programs ready to help people, when you ask them how much education they've received on nutrition, it's almost zero.
Yeah,
and it's a shame, right?
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So for those of you who want to learn more about their foundation, you can go to Chickpea and Bean. And by the way, Mark is the bean and Kim is the chickpea. I did a little research on you. So for those of you, and they're also converting this message in español. Para todos ustedes que quieren aprender en español, aquí pueden venir. Okay, so it's Chickpea and Bean. .com. And so I want to shift gears. I want you to hold on if you can. And I want to shift gears because Liberty Health Share is all about choices. And so off the air, I said, listen to this, Dale Billis, who is, by the way, the founder and chairman of Liberty Health Share. And I said, listen to this, Dale. This is what Mark did in 2 months. He reversed type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, psoriasis, and eliminated heartburn. And by the way, eventually lost 50 pounds or at least 50 pounds. And what was your reaction, Dale?
I'm all ears. I want to hear about this. This is spectacular.
Yeah. So share a little bit about what you were thinking as you're listening to Mark and Kim, because this is what we talk about on the show, is making these choices. You could take a pill, or you could take responsibility. Again, I'm not against pills, but I am for doing everything. Did you know, I'm sure you did know, but did you know you don't have to be on these medications for the rest of your life?
Well, we are a values-based community of men and women who pay each other's medical bills.
That's right.
And we do that without the aid of an insurance company or the government. And we are health conscious, and we're looking for constantly ways to improve our health. And what Mark said about chronic disease being what we ingest in our bodies is really critical to our future as a community. And I'm just all ears. I'm listening for those kinds of achievements and instruction that will improve our health, because that's what Liberty Health Share is all about.
Well, absolutely. And so what do you think? And by the way, I'm so grateful that Liberty Health Share is so like-minded with the Lillian McDermott radio show, that you guys are a sponsor. And so I as you come on, I get really excited because these are different ways we can improve the memberships at Liberty Health Share, because to teach them this new truth that you can reverse disease. And can you imagine, Dale, the reduction in costs for medical bills that would happen if we all adopted a whole food, plant-based lifestyle?
I am highly motivated about this because at Liberty Health Share, we have approximately 18,000 of our members who are on a pathway and a program, we call it Health Track, that assists our members to improve their health and wellness and well-being by making lifestyle changes. And this is consistent with and right in line with our messaging to incoming members with pre-existing chronic conditions that you can change. You can realign not only your choices as an individual, but your lifestyle to reverse these chronic diseases. So I am really welcoming and grateful for this opportunity to connect with the Ramirez family, because it's critical to our health lifestyles.
Yeah, and what you missed from the broadcast is that he has 8 brothers and sisters, and his mother passed away from diabetes, and his brother passed away from diabetes at a very early age, and another one lost a leg and has so there's so much disease in his family, and he was in that path too, but they made a change. They stopped. They saw the documentary Forks Over Knives, which I promote all the time on the show, and they made that choice. How difficult when you talked about the fast track, and this is something that we can talk when we return. You have the fast track, or the choices that you help your members learn that there's another way, so that they can become health conscious and members too. So
I'll be delighted to chat about that.
Yes, I love you. I love you. I know you know the cues. And so we're going to continue our conversation. We brought Del Bellis. He is the founder and chairman of Liberty Health Share. We're going to continue our conversation with Mark and Kim, and we're going to learn and grow together worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. I love your enthusiasm. And you know what, Dale? I love that you were taking notes because
that's what I'm doing. I'm taking notes.
Can you imagine, you know, because the majority of the time you have people that come in and they're doctors and they're listening to you and what you're talking and they're taking notes. There's Liberty Health Share out there. I can do it. And today I saw you were taking notes because it's so compelling. The story, Mark's story is the story of so many people, but Mark and Kim made a choice to make the change. Do you see that when the members that they want to become part of Liberty Health Share, but they don't quite have that health consciousness yet? What does Liberty Health Share? How do you help promote this health and wellness?
It is largely at the time of enrollment when we identify particular conditions that are lifestyle based. Type 2 diabetes, you've already addressed. High cholesterol, heart disease, high blood pressure, certainly obesity, smoking. We accept smokers, but they've got to commit to quit. And we assign them a health coach. We have 90 of them, interestingly, 90 health coaches that deal with our health track members on a regular, consistent basis, at least once a month, if not multiple times per month. Where the health coach is helping that individual set their pre-designated and selected lifestyle changes and help walk them through with a supportive program, a positive reinforcement, and they're all registered dietitians. So it's right in line with what you all are talking about in terms of those changes that positively and cooperatively and supportively support those changes to those lifestyle diseases.
Yes, and I've been calling it a fast track like at Disney.
Yeah, we call it health track. But it's fast track. I love
fast track into becoming a member. But so do you find this is what do you do, Kim and Mark, when you encounter a nutritionist? Because I know a lot of doctors that embrace the standard American diet with a little bit of variation. But Mark, you had mentioned that you still, even though you're trying different variation, the only thing that worked for you was a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, basically when I tried in this decade of being sick, I had attempted counting carbs, counting calories, portion control, like I said, eating a little less and trying to exercise more. And I did, like I said, I lost some weight, maybe 10 pounds, 15 pounds here or there. And but what I realized looking back now is I was still sick. It didn't help me eliminate my body still being in a sick state. So it wasn't until we changed the food. And this is why we tell people, look, exercise is important. We absolutely want people moving. We don't want you sitting on a couch all day. However, you need to fix the food and what's amazing is we have friends, like we have one of our friends is a mortgage broker, and basically
sorry, Mark. Okay, that's all done. It's time to move. Okay, here we go.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407.
You can text me in English and in Spanish, right?
Once again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow together. Now, we've introduced Del Bellis. He is the founder and chairman of Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is what I embrace when it comes to my health care. I no longer use insurance, the government who tells me where I can go, what I can do. What I embrace is Liberty Health Share. And for those of you who want to learn more, because I can go to the doctors that I was paying money for my insurance, plus paying money out of pocket to go to my chiropractor or my acupuncturist or my holistic doctor. With Liberty Health Share, they truly want to focus on health and change the paradigm of how we look at things. And Del Bellis is a champion for us in Congress and trying to change the way that we are, that that medicine is looked at, which is a profit game, but they're changing things one step at a time. For those of you who want to learn more about Liberty Health Share, that's 855-585-4237 or 855-58-LIBERTY. It's all about choice. It's all about liberty. It's all about freedom. You can go to libertyhealthshare.org. Now, we're having this conversation. By the way, of all the shows that you'll ever want to go to YouTube on, and the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, click on whenyouneedafriend.com, click on the YouTube, watch this video. So much information off the air as well. Dale Billis, we're talking about the choice of a whole food, plant-based lifestyle, and you're all ears. You're all ears. Share a little bit of what's going on with you right now as you listen to how you can reduce all these diseases. And I know you know this, but with the fork, and food can be a weapon of mass destruction or a tool to heal every cell of your body. What do you tell the people out there that want to get healthy?
We are a nationwide nonprofit association of men, women, and families who gather around the common cause of paying each other's medical bills. We do that without the aid of an insurance company or the government, just a regular systematic way of meeting healthcare costs based upon our shared values and beliefs. And so we welcome folks not only to join us who are health conscious, we're all health conscious and focused, but with pre-existing conditions. The vast majority, Lillian, are lifestyle-based, high blood pressure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, certainly obesity and cholesterol and smoking. We assign them a health coach, give them supportive guidance and direction on changing their lifestyle that impacts those disease states. And so I welcome and am open to the Chickpea and Bean.com support and association, because we recognize taking lifestyle changes that impact those chronic diseases are critical to our future and our wellness and our well-being. And so we call it Health Track. And so I'm certainly motivated to investigate that kind of guidance and support that the Ramirez family can give us, because lifestyle and lifestyle change is so critical in today's world regarding the costs we incur having to do with our healthcare.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are listening about or hearing about Liberty Health Share for the first time, it's not too good to be true. I thought it was too good to be true. I thought maybe that I'd be paying a lot of money. Share a little bit, Dale, or a lot of money for stuff that I wouldn't need, or if I got sick or something happened to me, I would be abandoned like my insurance has done. Share a little bit about Liberty Health Share and the rates and how affordable, and how we've taken Affordable Care Act and it's as Affordable Care Act exempt, but you guys are truly an affordable care action that we can do to save money and go towards health.
Well, we are encouraging all of our members to take control and manage the care of their health. That's the focus. And so much of today's conversation in the media and in the public is about insurance as opposed to caring for our health.
Sure.
And that's the basis and the focus of our communication together as members, is what is the most supportive and encouraging pathway for the care of our health. And so we give guidance to our members as well as to those who are joining us, whether it's an allopathic process or whether it's naturopathic, homeopathic treatments that support the care of our health. That's what our focus is on. It changed my life 8 years ago when I made that choice and we launched Liberty Health Share on that premise. Folks, come and join us so that we're supporting one another in the care of our health.
Absolutely. So that's libertyhealthshare.org. You're listening to Dale Billis. He's the founder and chairman. And I was calling the health track fast track because really we want to be, this is what happens when you live in near Disney World. You know, everything is a fast track. So the health track situation, the people that want to be healthy, do you find, Dale, when they embrace Liberty Health Share, and Liberty Health Share is saying, yeah, you can join us, but we want you to be health conscious. How many people has Liberty Health Share changed because now they're aware of a lifestyle choice that they can make?
Sure. We ask our members every month to set aside what we call a share amount. It goes into a secure online account that we call our share box. It's $199 for a single, it's $299 for a couple, or $449 for a family of 3 or more.
And that's an entire family. That's amazing.
That's amazing. It goes into their secure account. It's through our online technology, then matched to another member who has medical bills that month. And so you literally transparently see your dollars flow from your account to theirs. You know exactly where your money's going every month. You can message them with cheer or encouragement or prayer. And then we cut the checks out of that receiving member's account to the doctors and hospitals. In addition to that, if you come to us with a lifestyle-based condition, that qualifies you for our health track program. We assign you a health coach. You set your predetermined wellness goals with that health track coach. And every month you're making progress toward those changes that impact your lifestyle-based disease, high blood pressure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, certainly smoking, obesity. That costs an additional $80, Lillian, but it's a motivation towards making those changes. Once you reach those goals, you graduate. We give out digital balloons for that achievement, and we're graduating 400 to 600 members every month on the basis of their lifestyle changes, and we're seeing people's lives transform and change and alter. Just a quick statistic: last year, of all of those who joined us, that it was indicated they needed to lose weight. We had 1,600 members who graduated because they reached their weight loss goals. As a group, they lost over 32,000 pounds.
Wow.
And so we're seeing those kinds of changes take place every day.
What I love about Liberty Health Share is that you're promoting health, because as you promote health, the high cost of insurance has the being insured, because we don't need to do that anymore. We can save costs even through Liberty Health Share. And I want, for those of you who don't know this, Liberty Health Share supports you up to $1 million per incident. So this isn't a fly-by-night kind of thing. This is secure, and I've been a member for 2 years, and I was so grateful when Liberty Health Share became a sponsor of the Lillian McDermott Radio Show that I just want to scream it out, just like Mark and Kim want to scream out, hey, it's in your fork. You can use your fork as a weapon of mass destruction, or you can use your fork as a tool to heal every cell of your body. And Dale, I am so grateful every time you come on to remind us that this is a choice. We can choose, and we can exercise our freedom to choose Liberty Health Share.
That's precisely the opportunity we all have, thankfully, under the ACA, Healthcare Sharing Ministries, and members, which simply means we help each other, members of which are exempt from both the requirements to have insurance as well as the mandates of the ACA. We set our own rules, and that gives us the freedom to follow and really reinforce our conscience as it relates to healthcare.
Thank you so much, Dale Billis. And I want to thank you, Kim and Marc Ramirez, the Chickpea and Bean, for being on the show today. Thank you all for this. I really appreciate you all.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. And to you, my listening friend, please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
Ever.
Oh, that one came too quick. Thank you so much. Dale, it's so wonderful that you were able to hear the story of...
I'm so forward to that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you so much again for coming on. And we look forward to seeing you soon. I know that you have like one interview after another interview after another interview. So it's always wonderful to see your beautiful face.
Thank you so much. Mark and Kim, I'm going to be researching your site and be reaching out to you.
Yeah, please.
Yes, Dale, thank you.
Please do.
What a wonderful organization. I want to learn more about it too.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing when if we can fix the food, Dale, and I think you know this, we can. You know, one of the things I didn't talk about was, and I talked about it openly.
We're still recording, so you can go ahead and share.
Oh, okay. So one of the things we didn't touch on, but erectile dysfunction. That's also something that I had, and I had it for about 5 years. And it's very frustrating as a man, of course, to not be able to make love to your beautiful wife. And so many, many guys are out there popping a pill thinking that, hey, I'm great, life is good. And in reality, they're masking that bigger problem, right? And the problem is that heart attack and the stroke that are coming. And I try to explain this in all my presentations. That vein that feeds the male private part is the smallest artery. It's the smallest artery in the body, but your coronary, your carotid, your femoral arteries, those are clogging too. It's just going to take a little bit longer, right? And so I tell people, look, we want to live. We want to see our grandkids and, God willing, our great-grandkids, right? You don't want to be stroked out in a nursing home somewhere for 20 years like many, you know, we have an uncle on Kim's side who had a stroke, and unfortunately the right side of his body is paralyzed. And he's got a good, strong body. He could live that way for 20 years. My grandmother had a stroke. She ended up in a nursing home for many, but I think she lived that way for 22 years, not being able to talk, paralyzed on one side of her body. And she was trapped inside this body, could not talk. And it was very frustrating for her. But the bottom line is we need to never underestimate the body's ability to heal itself if we just feed it the right foods.
I join you in that, my dear friends, and I'll be in touch. God bless.
Thank you, Dale. I really appreciate
Thank you.
you. And I want to add something to what you just said, Mark, which is, you know, people take the way the pharmaceutical industry, and I will tell you, I'm giving up on the pharmaceutical industry ever because of the show. I will never have a pharmaceutical industry sponsor because it's not in my, I wouldn't promote them well. I would not do a good job promoting the pharmaceutical industry, especially you can take a pill, you can take responsibility. So the way, as I was listening to you talking to Dale, I thought, you know, here we are, we're taking a pill to prolong our disease, right? There's not a pill out there that's reversing disease, but then we do a great job at prolonging sick people's lives.
Yep.
Is that sick or
they're
what?
making trillions and trillions of dollars off keeping the people in this country and really around the world in a sick state. Because again, you start with these diseases, and over time you just end up packing in more pills, more procedures, and your body isn't healing itself. And yet I tell people, look, when we've all had a flat tire in a car, right? What happens? Does the car fix itself? No, you got to get out there. You got to change that tire. How about our computers? We've all had a virus or the computer didn't work. We had to take it in. It doesn't fix itself. How about our bodies? We cut ourselves with a knife accidentally, right? Mm-hmm. What happens? Slowly but surely it scabs up. Next thing you know, the scab comes off. Your body's always looking to heal itself. We just need to feed it the right foods. And we've been feeding it so many terrible foods for so long that, yeah, it's going to break down. And this is why the answer is in the food. Exercise is important, but the bottom line is you have to fix the food, because we see all kinds of athletes out there having heart attacks and having health issues. So got to fix the food.
Yeah, I want to add to that what you're saying. You know, no one puts sand in their gas tank and is shocked when the car doesn't run. Right. It's like, okay, well, everybody would say, well, it's stupid. You don't put sand in your car tank because it's not going to run. But we do that with our food. We treat our body tank as, you know, with sand. And then we go, oh, I've got the diabetes. I got my conditions. And then we look at the symptoms instead of as a symptom that your body's speaking to you. We look at it as the disease. We don't look at it as, because we've been programmed. It's time to change the program. Just like I was talking to you about Bruce Lipton, how he changed the program. It's about the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act. First, everything starts with a thought. First thing you did was, I think I can do this. I would like to try this. Then the first is the thought, then it's the feeling. Okay, I feel good. I'm beginning to feel good. And then that's the action. And when you said that, I said, you did 3 things. You not only saw, you heard, but you acted upon what you wanted to do. A lot of people stop at the thought and the feeling. You can think of a great invention, you can think of healing, or you can think of murder. They both start with a thought. The end result is not good. It's one of them is better than the other, much better than the other. So it's a mind, body, spirit. If we just treat the body, we also have to deal with some of the other conditions, the childhood traumas, it's a mind, body, spirit approach to healing. If you just treat the body, you're just treating the body.
Yeah.
And people give up. They say, oh, I've been vegan, but it didn't change anything. Well, that's because maybe there's some trauma that you're holding on to. Maybe there's some other things that need to be dealt with. So
yeah, it's amazing how, and again, I have the dramatic story, but Kim, the message to everyone too is you don't have to be diagnosed with a chronic illness to improve your health. I mean, look at what happened with Kim, right? All these improvements to her body by simply jam-packing her body full of all these nutrient-rich foods. And it's amazing to me that we'll take our car and we'll go change that oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, right? Because we don't want that machine to break down. Mm-hmm. But yet our own body, we're feeding it all these terrible foods. Yeah. I used to run to McDonald's, get the big breakfast, and then I would make it worse by putting cheese on. I'd ask them to put cheese on top of the eggs, 2-3 butters on the pancakes and 2 or 3 syrups.
And what would you get to drink?
And I would drink the Diet Coke because I want to be healthy.
Oh, right? Yeah. You don't want the sugar.
Right.
Isn't that what we do to ourselves?
So it's amazing when you take a step back and just really look at that. And so, like I said, Kim's my rock, and really does a lot to help us here. And it's amazing. And we are not doctors. We're not dietitians. We're not nutritionists. But we have helped hundreds and hundreds of people reverse diabetes, reverse cholesterol, reverse ungodly amounts of medications, and lose a ton of weight. And it's really the food.
Yeah. Before we go, I want you to talk about we called it a cumbre, the workshop that's happening, the seminar that's happening as we speak yesterday through May 9th. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I am a coach for Mastering Diabetes, and basically this organization was founded by 2 individuals, by Dr. Cyrus Kambata and Robbie Barbaro, and those 2 individuals have been living with type 1 diabetes for over 15 years each. And then myself and Adam Sudd, we're 2 individuals who have reversed type 2 diabetes, along with a whole slew of other health conditions. And we also have Kylie, who is a registered nurse, who's also on the part of the organization. But basically, we're trying to help people understand why most people have diabetes. And I say most people because most people are type 2 diabetic. Mm-hmm. It's about 5 to 10% of the population is type 1 diabetic, where the majority, 90 to 95, somewhere in that range, is type 2. Mm-hmm. And so we're helping people understand why most people are diabetic and helping them improve their condition. And we did that in English, and now just there is a Spanish summit, a cumbre it's called, a cumbre de diabetes, and it's in Spanish. And so that is happening right now, and it is
How can people see it? How can people see it?
So if they go to chickpeaandbean.com, if they go to our website, there is a photo there that basically they click on to register. It is free to join, and it's for 7 days. We also have an Espanol tab on our website. So if they go there, that's the one for the Spanish summit, because the English one is over, but the Spanish one is the one that's going on right now. They register, and what they do is they get to listen to all these experts talk about how they are helping people reverse, if not dramatically improve, their diabetes conditions. Very good. And if there's anything I can do in the future to help you guys in your cause, I'm more than happy to join you in your cause, because this is senseless. It doesn't need to be. And all these diseases were created, I believe, with all my heart, that the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry are in cahoots with one another. And together, they're making a ton of money, and we are getting sicker. And so we're in choice. We're always in choice. Marc and Kim Ramirez, thank you so much for being part of the Lillian McDermott Radio Show today.
I know this will be one of many of our conversations. Thank you.
We hope
Thank you
so.
for having
And
us.
to you, my viewers, thank you so much for hanging on. And I am looking forward to our conversation soon, tomorrow. See you.